Hi all, I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. Today I'm going to show you my favorite tool for setting stones, an engraving ball. I found a pretty cost-effective option that will really just change your life when you're setting stones. You may remember this lovely bracelet that Susie made, soldered together with our fancy new 18 karat solder, which works well, and the color match is ridiculous. It's going to be a lot of plugs in this video, so I'm just going to tell you right now, just know it's going to be like plug, 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 plug. Because I'm also going to show you the engraving ball. The engraving ball is a tool that I'm very attached to because I started using it many years ago and I was like, where has this been all my life? But here's the problem with engraving balls. What they're really made for originally was for people who engrave. So you put something in there, you either clamp it in, or there's also like all little funny attachments you can get for the top that go in the holes, and I can show you that later. Honestly, I never use mine. I usually just stuff a paper towel in there because I'm a classy broad. But that's what I usually do. And that's what you do, is that people were able to use this to engrave. At some point, I guess stone setters like saw that and were like, dude, that's amazing. But the problem with engraving balls is this: they can be really, really pricey. I mean, like a lot, like $600, $800, $1,500, like a lot. Now, I blow tons of money on tools all the time, admittedly, but I do feel like with stuff like this, like most jewelers, you don't need a $1,500. You don't need an $800 engraving ball. You need one that's like a few $100s. Do you know what I'm saying? It will change your life. You will be really happy you have it. But because I have at home a much bigger, much fancier one, it does nothing that this one doesn't do. It's also harder to pick up because it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean? So for me, I like these little ones. These are just heavy enough that they, kind of hold everything, sit there and behave themselves. You see what I mean? They just like slide around like that. You can also chase and repousse with this too. You can like literally do a little block of wood with a little pitch on top and clamp it right in here. And you can like move it all around. I've done that too when I wanted to do more flat things and I really wanted to be able to like get in from the side and stuff like that. This thing is like, so we're gonna have these on the website very soon, but that's what I've been doing for a long time, is trying to find one that's like not so crazy expensive. Like, is it as deliciously beautiful as the one for $1,500? No, but there's nothing the fancy ones do that this doesn't do every bit as well. And I feel like there are things that I'm totally willing to blow my money on. Like the best files in the world are worth every nickel. Like those Val Titan files, it's like I would never trade that out for a less expensive file. This, I think people they're just wasting their money. You know what I mean? Use that money to buy gold, use that money to buy stones, whatever. So at any rate, there's my long plug about the engraving ball, because it makes setting so easy, especially with faceted stones. Because you know how when you're setting a faceted stone, you have to constantly set and then check from the side to make sure it's level. Right. This thing, I can spin, I can get it at every angle. Like, it's like, oh, it's so nice. Okay, so I'll show you my high-tech equipment that I use. Very, very swanky broad, so. Like so. And if I'm really feeling fancy, I take a rubber band and put it around it just so that it doesn't kind of pop up and get in my way. So we're gonna take your lovely bracelet and we're gonna pop it right in there. Because this is 90% of the time, this is how I hold things in the vise, is literally just this. I put the paper towel in there and I clamp it like a ring or a bracelet. If I have some kind of like delicate earring or something, maybe I'll put it on a little wood board with a hole drilled in it, or hold it with jet set and you can clamp the jet set right in here. So I never use any of the attachments. I just think they're more trouble than they're worth, but they have them. You can, whatever. Okay, like so. Oh my God, so fancy and beautiful. They make like leather insert jaws, but for some unknown reason, I cannot keep them. Like, we used to have them, like rubber ones, and they just disappear. Paper towel I can always access. So that's what I use. So I just wanted to show you one last thing about the new engraving balls that I love. When you get the engraving ball, you're gonna get two little different donuts. The donuts are these little rubber things on the bottom. They're not actually donuts, but I think of everything in terms of food. So that's just, that's where my brain's always at. So the reason we're including two is that this one right here is really nice and slidey. You know what I mean? You can move that around a lot. So what this one is perfect for is when, you know how you're setting faceted stones and every time you press, you gotta like flip it and look at eye level? This one is perfect for stuff like this because it's real easy to move it around really smooth. This one is not easy to move. This one is perfect when you're doing a little chasing on top of there, or you're doing really something like hammery and you really don't want it that easy to move. So we kept trying different ones, and finally, of course, I was like, I can't choose one, I want both. So basically you will get one of these engraving balls, which that's the actual ball, and you'll get two of these donuts, one super slidey, one not very slidey. So basically you could just change it out according to whatever you're doing. So I realized that there's actually two more things that I wanted to show you about the engraving ball, okay? One is these set of attachments right here, which come with it. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I pretty much never use them, but what they are for is to hold pieces for engraving. I pretty much use my engraving ball for setting, so I usually don't bother. But for example, this would be one of the many ways you would take these little attachments. You see, they have the little pegs in, you put them in, you jam stuff in between. So like the big ones like this, you could literally put that in there and put a big bracelet over it. That's what all of these little pegs and whatnot are for. Because I don't really do a whole lot of engraving, I literally almost never use them. But that's what all those weird things are. Normally when I'm setting stones, I just take a block of wood and drill a hole in it. And that's it. So I'm very classy lady, so that's why. So I wanted to show you what they are. One other thing that I forgot to show you. If you look at the side right here, this is the little handle that opens the screw. You see what I mean? To open this, open or close. But they're also, if you look a little lower right here, is this little guy. Now what that does, if you put it in here and you close it, the top part here won't spin around, right? Like that. If you loosen it, you can slide it around. So sometimes it just depends on if you want something. Sometimes you're working and you want to be able to, like, you know, easily spin, 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 spin. And sometimes you don't want things to move around, like when you're hammering, and you would lock it up. Okay, so I think with that, I have shown you all the important things about the engraving ball.